There are moments in your life when you stepped in to help someone and nobody thanked you. Nobody noticed the effort you made, and it felt like your kindness disappeared into thin air. But heaven didn't miss it. The spiritual realm pays attention to things the world overlooks. At the exact moment when you chose compassion over convenience, something sacred was recorded. You stood in a place where love required effort and sacrifice, and you chose to give anyway. Even though the world was silent, God witnessed every detail, and what comes next in your life is rooted in that unseen moment. Life has placed you in situations where you had to decide between stepping forward or stepping away. And while others held back, you moved with courage. You reached out when everyone else pretended the pain didn't exist. You gave your energy, your time, and your strength. Strength you could have easily saved for yourself. Helping cost you something, even if nobody knew, but you still chose to show up. You lifted those who couldn't repay you, supported those who didn't appreciate you, and stood in the gap when it would have been easier to walk away. Those moments mattered more than you realize. Heaven pays attention to the choices you make when nobody is watching. Humans reward noise, appearances, and performance, but God sees intention, sincerity, and sacrifice. Every time you moved in silence, you revealed the truth of your heart, not for applause, not for validation, not for recognition, but because compassion is part of your nature. And something powerful happens in the spiritual realm whenever you choose kindness from a place of authenticity. That kind of obedience carries weight. It creates movement you can't see yet. Your silent goodness planted seeds that heaven has been nurturing all along. Your quiet acts didn't vanish into nothingness. They became evidence that you can be trusted, that your heart is genuine, and that your compassion isn't a temporary performance but a consistent pattern. Those moments where you gave despite being tired, loved despite being hurt, and helped despite feeling empty were seen by God. He knows how often you push through your own battles just to lighten someone else's load. Heaven treats that differently. Earth overlooks it. Humans forget it. But God counts every one of those moments, and each one has begun releasing a ripple of divine consequence. People may think your life is ordinary, but your spiritual record tells a different story. You've done things most people wouldn't do unless they received something in return. You've given when you were drained, comforted others while you were hurting, and extended grace where none was extended to you. That kind of purity plants seeds that don't stay hidden forever. They grow in ways you don't expect and blessings that reach areas of your life you never connected to your sacrifice. Something is already shifting for you. You may not fully understand it yet, but heaven is responding. There have been moments in your life when danger passed so closely you didn't even realize how protected you were. Times when something should have gone wrong but didn't. Times when you felt a sudden urge to change directions, leave early, or pause something for no logical reason. Those weren't coincidences. They were divine interventions. Not the kind you prayed for, but the kind your character earned. God assigned protection to your life because of who you are and how you show up for others. Helping someone vulnerable activated a spiritual law that now covers you. When you defend the weak, heaven defends you. When you become a shelter for someone else, God becomes a fortress for you. There are betrayals that never touched you because an angel blocked the path. There are attacks that fizzled out before reaching you because heaven stood between you and harm. There are enemies who intended to hurt you but unexpectedly lost access, motivation, or opportunity. You didn't realize it then, but every compassionate act created spiritual movement that positioned angels at your side. What looked like nothing happened was actually protection. Helping in silence activated alliances in the unseen realm. Angels don't just appear and disappear. When God assigns them to you because of your character, they stay for seasons. They carry instructions for your future, doors you will walk through, opportunities meant for you, and blessings already written with your name on them. And now that protection is evolving. You're entering a season where God isn't just blocking danger, He's revealing truth. He's not only protecting your path, He's exposing the people walking on it. And that exposure is about to change the way you see everything. Whenever you help someone from a pure place, God uses that moment to reveal not just your heart, but the hearts of those around you. Kindness exposes character. It shows who claps for your compassion and who quietly resents it. When you helped silently, heaven watched who ignored your effort, who took advantage of your generosity, who pretended not to see your struggle, and who disappeared when loyalty was needed. Some people benefited from your goodness, but never acknowledged you. Others felt threatened by your light, and God saw it all, every reaction, every motive, every silence. So now heaven has begun a spiritual separation. God is gently removing people who drain you, who only take without giving, who lean on your strength but vanish when you need theirs. Their absence isn't rejection, it's protection. Their distance isn't loss, it's divine alignment. You may feel friendships fading, conversations growing dull, or certain connections losing their spark. That's not you changing. It's God pulling you out of relationships that were never meant to travel with you into your next season. Some people are being removed because where you're going requires balanced connections, not one-sided ones. Sometimes God exposes people not through betrayal but through their failure to show up. Silence can reveal more than words. When compassion demanded courage, some people stepped back instead of forward. When you needed what you freely gave, many hesitated, and God allowed you to see this, not to harden you, but to free you. Their true nature surfaced in a moment where you expected nothing from them. Your kindness became the mirror revealing their hidden intentions. Now you can no longer pretend you don't see what God has shown you. This rearranging isn't punishment, it's preparation. Your destiny requires a lighter circle, clearer boundaries, and relationships built on truth, not convenience. God is clearing the path so your purpose has room to grow. And once the wrong people are removed, something else begins to rise. Something hidden, something delayed, something heaven held back until you were no longer surrounded by those who couldn't go with you. Because your blessing was never denied, it was simply waiting for the right environment to land safely in your life. There is a spiritual law that cannot be rewritten. Whatever a chosen one releases from a pure heart always returns multiplied. When you helped someone, you didn't just act, you planted. You planted comfort where someone felt abandoned. You planted hope where someone felt lost. You planted strength into someone who was close to giving up. And heaven never wastes seeds like that. But the mystery is this: blessings rarely return in the same form you gave them. God doesn't repay in mirrors. He repays in transformations. He gives not what you expect, but what your soul truly needs. You gave emotional support, and heaven might answer through financial stability. You offered someone your presence, and God may return it through opportunities you never chased. You sacrificed time you needed for yourself, and instead of getting more time back, you begin noticing acceleration. Things that were slow suddenly start moving fast. Doors that were locked begin opening effortlessly. People show up to help you in ways you never experienced before, praying for you in private, advocating for you in places you've never stepped into. Heaven doesn't return burdens, heaven returns reinforcements. The beautiful part, you often don't realize your blessing has begun until you feel your spirit lighten. Tasks that once felt heavy become manageable. Situations that used to drain you lose their power. Pressure fades where peace begins to flow. You start noticing the supernatural ease that comes after seasons of silent sacrifice. You look back and realize you're living in blessings you didn't pray for, blessings your kindness planted without you knowing. God is touching the areas of your life that you quietly struggled with, the parts you hid behind your strength, the places you never admitted were hurting. God takes what you placed in His hands and returns it transformed. The blessing He sends carries divine creativity, timed so perfectly you can't call it coincidence. You may even pause one day and think, is this connected to something I did when no one was watching? And the answer is yes. Heaven's timing is never random. These blessings appear exactly as you step into a new season, so you enter that season not empty but affirmed, not confused but confident, not overlooked but seen. And behind this blessing, another layer begins to unfold. Because when God blesses a chosen one, He doesn't stop at blessing. He prepares a public unveiling. The season you're walking into is not just about restoration or reward, it's about elevation. You spent so much time helping quietly that your goodness became your private testimony. But heaven never intended for your story to remain invisible forever. Every silent act has a sound in the spiritual realm, and yours has risen before God with such clarity that He has begun preparing visible, undeniable moments of honor in your life. There will come a time when God elevates you in ways that silence every doubt people ever had about you. Those who ignored you before will begin to notice the shift in your life. Doors that refused to open will suddenly swing wide. Opportunities that once felt unreachable will present themselves with ease. God's timing may feel slow, but when it moves with force. Your quiet kindness is about to have a loud reward. Your private obedience is about to bring public favor. Not to glorify you, but to glorify God through you. People around you will sense the change before you fully understand it. They'll notice a glow, a shift in your energy, a clarity in your steps. Some will be inspired, others surprised, and a few will feel intimidated. They'll wonder why everything is aligning for you, and heaven's answer will echo through every open door, because they helped when no one else did. Your name will begin to travel to places your feet haven't reached yet. Your presence will be requested in rooms you once dreamed of. Your testimony will extend far beyond your effort. This shift isn't random. It's a divine strategy. God is aligning your life so precisely that even you will look at certain blessings and know they were orchestrated. But elevation isn't the end. It's simply the bridge to something deeper, a transformation of identity. The same way your quiet acts shaped your spirit privately, God's next move will shape how the world recognizes you publicly. He is marking you in this next season not just with blessings, but with purpose, clarity, and undeniable grace. And now heaven is leaning toward you with one word: now, not later, not eventually, not when you feel prepared. Now, you don't need more confirmation. You've already felt it in your spirit. Every silent sacrifice, every unspoken prayer, every moment you chose love when it was hard has risen before God as proof of who you are. Heaven didn't forget your quiet goodness. Heaven preserved it, and now that goodness is demanding a response, a reward written with your name in a script only God can create. You're about to encounter blessings that move toward you with precision. You will walk through doors that were locked for years. You will meet people assigned by God to lift, support, and guide you. Help will reach you in the same unexpected, perfectly timed ways you once offered it to others. Heaven is not just preparing a blessing. He is preparing a moment, a divine turning point where everything aligns. The silence you endured is becoming the stage for the glory about to unfold. So lift your head. Strengthen your heart, stand firm in your spirit. What's coming isn't small or subtle. It won't be mistaken for coincidence. It will be God responding to every hidden act of love, every unseen sacrifice, and every moment you chose compassion when no one else moved. And if something inside you feels this message confirming your spirit, declare it boldly: I receive my divine reward. As those words leave your heart, may you feel the shift begin, strong, unmistakable, and absolutely unstoppable.